All right, and I am Jupiter from Alias, New York, aka the fifth planet Keyforge, coming at you from at the plump age of 45 now. So I'm ready to call it retirement, right? No, not quite. But we what we have today for you guys is the finals, and of course for the finals, I need to be bringing in my A plus A team in the Screech Bomb guys with Callum and Baron here to carry the conversation for you guys while I do all the stuff in the background. So say hello, my friends.
Hello, hello.
Hello.
We'll
Good
Hello.
be
afternoon, good
flatterers.
evening, good morning, good whatever time it is in your fair country right now.
Right, we're kind of all over the place, but today we are excited because we have a Portuguese, Jfilipeg, in the finals versus the heir apparent to the Kiwi throne for the Atlanteans, Lorenzo. So this has got a lot of excitement. Not only is there money on the line, right? There's $100 a difference in the prize pool, but you also get three the luxurious playstyle keys as well. So that makes it like another extra
Ooh,
$75 to the win,
ooh.
right? So that's pretty amazing. And thank you so much all season long and for all the events from Luxurious Playstyle for sponsoring us basically without really sponsoring us. But they've been basically giving us like all these extra prizes for you guys because they care about our community and they care about Keyforge. So if you have a chance to patronize the Luxurious Playstyle, please do. Their stuff is top-notch quality. I was kind of skeptical at first as well. I finally broke down because I play enough, and then I was like, man, I was stupid to ever be skeptical. These things are beautiful, and I don't think you could be disappointed with them. And don't forget also that next week on May 22nd, I'm going to bring up the bigger banner here. We do have the New Wave sealed tournament coming. I know that for some people they have real life events coming. Can't that's fine. We understand that's going to happen, but we can't like try to figure out how to work around the whole world. So this will be what it is, and we are going to be using real sealed decks. Me and Z have bought a plethora of decks, and we're going to open them all. I think Thursday or Friday this week, and we are going to use decks from our actual collections that we opened fresh for this event. So they're not even on TCO yet. You've never seen these decks. We've never seen these decks. We're going to pull them in bulks of 3, put them in buckets, and then you get to use them. So then after the event, if you love what you had, and you'll know how to find them because it'll either be me or Z's decks. They'll be in our collection. There's no guarantee that we will sell them or trade them to you, but there is the fact that you could find them at least. I know sometimes people are like, "Oh, where can I find these decks?" And we're like, "We have no idea." Well, and if you're a patron now on Decks of Keyforge, Corey Than has set up a thing that lets you see who owns what decks for the most part, as long as they're registered or whatever, and you're basically in the mix there. So I'm excited to get this going. We're gonna get these guys moving on the look at the decks and some deck talk. I'm gonna shut up and get out of the way and get everything situated with J Phil and Lorenzo. So why don't you guys go ahead and take it away, and I'll see you guys soon.
Thank you very much, Jupiter. So we're going to talk about Lorenzo's decks from the Hamburg Atlantics, and he's just started absolutely tipping it down here in Nottingham as I've said that, which may be an omen.
Sign, aside from the gods.
Yeah, the Poseidon approves clearly. But yeah, so should we talk? Which deck should we talk about first? Callum, this is usually your
Let's,
department.
let's go from left to right. So we'll start off with the Worlds Collide deck, Violent Valley Agent Randolph, coming in
Mhm.
at 8-1 in this particular tournament, having never been banned. And it's just pretty good all-round Worlds Collide. It has some of pretty much everything you want. You've got some decent board clear, you've got some good artifact control with the double hawks, you've got some big amber controls. It's very good at setting up the sort of TMTP trap, where you push your opponent quite high. And
Yeah.
on top,
Sorry, you go.
on top of that, you've got some very high efficiency with the sort of double leader shenanigans that you can do, as well as sort of
Yeah, and we've seen this double leader shenanigans, as he's delightfully put it, used incredibly effectively by Lorenzo. Whenever we've watched him in this tournament, it's the kind of thing where you think like you look at this thing like, oh yeah, but he's not going to be able to get the benefit of both the Zens and the Jericho because you can't have them both in the middle. Oh no, he's going to get that benefit. From what we've seen, it very often happens that he will start with the Zens in the middle, get a Jericho in the middle, then get Zens back in the middle by the end. It truly is a dance, and it is a dance worth seeing.
yeah,
And
just
I'm hoping we'll see that.
the amount of things this deck can do on any one turn is
Mhm.
spectacular.
Yeah, and it's very it's very on brand for like Lorenzo's decks, and kind of we said this before, but for kind of Hamburg Atlantean decks as a whole, in that it kind of does everything and it does everything very well. So it's got the Ember control, it's got the board control, it's got the card draw, it can keep a board, it can stop your artifacts. It can make Ember quite well as well. It just does everything well and makes it a nightmare to play into.
Speaking of decks that are a nightmare to play into, let's look at Odin the Aggressive, shall we?
L'Aggressivo.
So, pretty obvious highlights here. We have a triple control of the week that you can basically then recycle with the help from Future Self and the Novi Archaeologists to get yourself a whole big number of control of the week turns per game, and basically just sort of go for crushing your opponent by making them play at best suboptimal turns and at worst full turn skips.
Yeah, and even with that, even that outside of the control of the weeks, you've also got like a Scrambler Storm to stop playing actions. You've got a couple of Miasmas to stop forging keys, Interdimensional Graft. Just tons of cards that knock your opponent off their game. Dysania is another great example of a card that, when it's printed, wasn't so good, but now is an incredible card if someone's playing a very like an auto encoder deck, an E-Die deck, something along those lines. Dysania, great for just kind of like crushing that.
Yeah, I mean the deck's got 20 in disruption.
And it earns it most definitely. Also, just like the M generation is quite an interesting one, whereby you've got like a pair of dust imps and quite a few good ways of getting rid of them, whether it's the board clears in Dis itself or stuff like Pawn Sacrifices, Poison Waves. Nice ways of getting rid of it.
Yeah, and sort of you're also going to be able to set up with the double miasmas, with all the Shadow Steel into the interdimensional graft. Just sort of create that situation your opponent can't quite forge a key, but can't quite burst high enough. Because they're going to get punished.
And last but by no means least, I think one of my favourite decks that's been in the KFPL all year, and it is Specialist Sandstorm Greifswald. Nope, the deck.
Just aggressively counteracting whatever it is you might want to do. Oh, you want to use creatures? Well, I've got 2 Skippy Time Hogs. You want to use Destroyed Effects? I've got the Purifier of Souls.
You want to forge a key? Break key. No keys for you. You want to choose your house? Mark of Dis. Not going to do that anymore.
Twice. You want to steal my Ember? Well, I've got a Vault Keeper and a Discombobulator.
Oh, you want to use some Sanctum stuff, so have your Ember on useful creatures. I'm going to equalize it to move it around but make it really annoying for you.
Yeah, and on top of all, it's just brutal. On top of all of this, you've got like 114 effective power, so a pretty chunky Sanctum board.
Yeah, it's just the kind of thing where like it's so much more than the sum of its parts, because it's just kind of got all of these things that just compound on each other. So suddenly, if you've skipped your time hog to a person's last 2 turns and you've let yourself build up a board, then you're Mark of Dissing them, and it just kind of keeps rolling over and over again to stopping your opponent, and it's so effective at that. It's very
and you've got 21 enhancements as well, just upping the amount of things that you're able to do on it.
Like you look at Scrivener Fabian with 7 capturing pips, for example, or you've got Cronus with 5 draw pips too. You've got things that Maleficorn with 9 damage pips. You've got things that benefit from all those pips as well, and just kind of like multiply them.
Yeah, and the Cronus especially, a lot of the draw pips are in Logos. I know they have a double draw sloppy lab work, which combined with the Cronus just gets ridiculous.
It does indeed.
So you
very
said
nice decks there.
Yeah, you said it was raining where you are. I'm looking at glorious blue skies and perhaps an omen from the Portuguese located Jfilipeg. So let's see what he's got today.
Nope. See what I did there?
Very good. Very good.
I just specialized you. See? Nope. No, just kidding. There you go.
What is this? This is outrageous.
They could hear me saying that.
So, the first deck that we have going on is much improved Noor of the Subway, which has been banned 7 times, and I think you can probably understand why. Because just sort of does look pretty miserable to play against, right? You've got the Eaton's Jar, which is a big ban flag. You've got a couple of marks of Dis. So just one. But the sort of key thing that the deck is going to do is you have the triple Stirring Grave and quite a few different things that you want to bring back with these Stirring Graves, right? So you've got an Infernus, you've got 2 Bonithings, you've got sort of Fandangle, Pismire, Keyfrog, Inspector, lots of stuff that you could benefit from having on the board multiple times and making your opponent get rid of them.
Yeah, I think
And
that's the thing with this deck. There's so many things that your opponent has to get rid of, but they just keep coming back to. And especially with that ends jar, when you can like kind of take your opponent's key card and say, right, you're gonna spend all this time dealing with things. I'm gonna take away your best tool that helps me deal with those things. It becomes super effective.
yeah, and I think a big thing in the deck is the Pincerator.
Yes, there's a lot of synergies with Pincerator, whether it's Rad Penny, whether it's Key Frog, whether it's
Brabble.
Brabble. To an extent, Inspector 2 is quite a good one to put on the
Yeah.
end if you want to purge a card from your opponent's hand.
And just lets you recycle more stuff with the Stirring Graves, right? If your Bone Knitting is going to hit on the board and then go back into the discard pile in a turn or so later, because the Pincerator, that's added value.
Actually, a question with the Inspector, I can't remember. Does the Inspector happen before or after a person's draw step with the Pincerator?
At the end of each turn, so I think that comes after the draw.
Which is like even more effective then because you can't you're then like starting your turn with one less card in hand and it's just miserable to deal with.
And we move on to Countess Bentactwiz Holmes.
Now this has been a bit of a sleeper. This is a deck that you look like 80 sass and you look at the Untamed and go, oh, it's not really got the things you'd want in Untamed. But every time we watch this, it exceeds our expectations. Every time we watch this, we're like, is it going to keep doing this? Is it going to keep being incredible? And it just is.
I've got better at assessing what it's going to do the more times we've seen it do it, but I still think I'm missing on many of the tricks that Jfilipeg can make it do. I think the big play is the Arise, because you have a large number of disc creatures arising back into a sort of Drumble, Shula, Terror, Snudge combo. It's very problematic. And that combined with the double gateway and the Nepenthe Seed in the Untamed means that easily a couple of times a game you can hit a full board wipe and arise into a decent set of 4 or 5 or more disc creatures, which is a huge problem for many different decks.
And then most of these disc creatures are very happy being kind of like brought back into play after being destroyed, right? You know, you got Drumble, you got Terror with a Drumble, you've got Charrettes, got Shulas. Just like generally when you're playing that Arise, you're getting all of these back and just doing utterly disgusting things with them.
Okay, we have the Shadows set, which just steals Ember in huge amounts. Pretty simple, does it very well. Triple Nerf Blast, Bait and Switch, plus a bunch of other useful things like Oubliette, Horn Sacrifice.
Yeah, and then the Untamed I think is an interesting one because, as I've said, it's missing a lot of things you'd expect. You know, you've not got any like key cheats, you've not got like your full moves, your hunting witches, all that kind of stuff. The stuff that it does have to replace it, though, I think is still just been incredibly effective. So, like Curiosity, a lot of logos running around very effective against that. Grasping Vines, great against those artifact decks.
Yeah, and the deck itself has a lot of artifact control, which is a common theme across all 3 of these decks. The Countess has a Poltergeist, a Customs Office, and a Grasping Vines. Customs Office and Grasping Vines being particularly harsh.
Yeah.
Both in terms of just blocking up your opponent's hand with multiple different artifacts of different houses, and then making them repay to put them down again.
Indeed.
And final one we have is the Ice King of Sparkles.
Delightfully named.
Delightfully named. And this deck has 25 Ember control, and you can very quickly see why. You've got a Tribute with 3 Ludos and a Scutum, so almost certainly not getting that Tribute Ember back.
Definitely not, no.
Double Gallum, you've got 2 E-Dies with the Hologram in front and a Mimic Gel, just rack up those key costs. Got some information exchanges. All this is before we've even got to the Shadows.
Yeah, and the Shadows, it's a deck where you can't go too high because you've got stuff like Ronnie's, you've got Bren's, you've got things that have big steal and can benefit from that. But you can't go low either because everything is gonna kind of keep knocking it up, like E-Dies, like Trust No Ones, like little bits of chipping away. And the lateral shift before we do move on to the Shadows has done so much work up to this point. You know, the infamous, I think we saw in a highlights video, lateral shifting someone's Martial Generosity, for example, can be brutal.
Brutally game swing, but also just like if you get into, as this deck often does, a sort of fight over key 3 or over key 2, the ability to just go, okay, this is the full hand that I have, I'm going to get rid of their one answer from this hand, and there's the game.
Okay, so I believe the game is ready and they are waiting for us. So I think we should switch over to that.
We should. We do have some bans, I believe.
So
Very interesting because that's the first time that Violent Valley Agent Randolph has been banned in this tournament so far. So we'll see.
It is. Oh, sure. I see. Just to clarify, sorry, we thought Jupiter is talking Aria, but you can't hear, and we didn't realize that. So it is. Violent Valley Agent, which is the Logo Shadows Worlds Collide deck in Lorenzo's pool, and it is much improved Noah of the Subway in Jfilipeg's pool.
Yep. So Violent Valley Agent Randolph getting its first ban. It's usually, usually Odin is the one that draws the ban from Lorenzo's Triad.
But yeah, clearly Jfilipeg thinking he can get to grips with it, can grapple it, and yeah. And Specialist Sandstorm and Greasefold, always happy to see that deck in play. I'm very excited to see that thrown down.
And I think, were I to speculate wildly and without produced information, I think that's because the Ice King has a very low creature control. And I could see a scenario where if it faces up against Sandstorm and Violent Valley Agent Randolph, it's going to run into problems with both of those matches.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep.
Okay,
so our first matchup is going to actually be Odin versus Countess, and I'm getting us in now. They are waiting for us this time, so.
Okay, well, yeah. Yep, waiting on you here, Jupiter, and then we will get this show on the road. As we do see, this is the finals, the last game, the one we've all been waiting for, the big one, the one for all the marbles. So, a lot on the line here, very exciting, and
coming straight in with some classic Kota v Kota.
Yep.
Indeed.
So old school.
All right, so this is where we're going to leave you. Go to full screen mode and let the boys take it away. Good luck.
Okay, here we go. So, on top of the screen, we have Jfilipeg playing at Countess Bentactwiz Holmes. And on the bottom of the screen, we have Lorenzo99 playing Odin Lagresivo.
So, can the triple control of the week disrupt the sort of careful Arise-based plays of the Countess?
Yeah, I do feel like this isn't the best matchup for the Countess, and it may struggle against Odin, but I feel like most decks will struggle against Odin. It turns out being able to choose which house you play is quite useful for the game of Keyforge, who knew?
Yeah.
But it is going to be Lorenzo going first.
Difficult to think of a good matchup into Odin.
Yeah.
That's probably why the Eden's Jar deck got banned.
Quite possibly. Stealer of Souls out first. Nice card to get out there. I'm going to see a Dew Fairy and a Curiosity. Clearly no Scientists in Lorenzo's deck, so you have to get that out early, and a Vigor, just to get some Ember.
I think there's at least one Scientist.
Move
to Archaeologist. Time Traveler also, possibly. Either way, not currently on the board, so...
No, not worth holding.
Very much limited in its ability to hold cards, Countess. A comedic, possibly the slowest deck in the KFPL with minus 3.5 efficiency.
Yeah, but it's one of those decks where you're just like, well, why do I need card draw when all my cards are good? It's generally the question that's asked. And yeah, I mean, obviously the first control of the week of the game into Untamed. Ketidis is on the board with a Reap from that Stealer of Souls.
So it does get a Reap with the G-Fairy.
Mm-hmm.
And a Grasping Vines.
Going to put the Ketidis back in hand. Jfilipeg probably pretty happy with that turn, I imagine. Can't really be too disappointed. Some good cards to get out there.
That's the thing with
control. It's a very powerful card. It's very useful, but sometimes you get turns like that where, like, to be honest, that's not a bad turn for Jfilipeg. Probably happy to get that one out of the way and not have it affect me too much.
There's a non-zero chance he would have played that turn anyway. 3 cards out of hand.
Two cards out of hand. Two Vines and the Witch. Yeah,
and a Reap for 2. It's not nothing.
No, definitely not. Up to 5 Ember. I don't think he's going to be too upset about that. But also, the key if this comes back down, he says, "Like, leave it there. Stay there. Stop moving my key around." And he's just going to he's going to fight the Witch of the Eye to purge it and gain him an Ember.
Those 2 Dust Imps sitting on the board looking very pretty for the Ketidis.
Yeah, menacing, I'd say. With them with their claws clutching that Ember. They're like, I want to put it in the pool.
Hey, how about 4 Ember anytime I feel like it?
Yeah. So, Jfilipeg having a little bit of a think here. Obviously, plenty on the line here, so I don't think anyone's going to be Russian. Can be very understood to just kind of take your time a bit, have a bit of a think. For sure. But both players are too kind of like not the fastest of starts. We're seeing just I think pretty much exclusively Dis from Lorenzo, exclusively Untamed from Jfilipeg. Not that he had a choice in the matter. So maybe both holding some things in hand, ready for some like shadow stealing to go down. I imagine.
Potentially, yes.
The only thing
Legacy
is,
shadows.
and the lottery numbers will be. But plays bait and switch, doesn't actually get to steal anything with the bait and switch though, and gets that customs office down. So just want to get onto check maybe. Not great shadows turn there.
Customs office not going to do a huge amount in this game, as I assume he's going to throw away the spectral tunneler rather than pay an ember for it, and the key to this is already on the board.
Probably not worth it, no. And Lorenzo, a much more successful bait and switch there, just saying to Jfilipeg, here's how you bait and switch.
Ooh,
and he's going to be able to destroy both Dust Imps, get himself to 11 Ember, and Miasma just for the Ember 2.
Just some very quick burst.
Yeah, and just, I suppose, unless Jfilipeg's got that Dis in hand, not got great ways to deal with this action here from Lorenzo.
Yeah, I could assume that's probably good for one key.
I would think so. And going to go Untamed, so yeah, presumably doesn't have that Dis knocking around, and he's just going to play a Mookling to increase that key cost, but yeah, not great turns here we're seeing.
Yeah, that sort of pawn sacrifice dust imp play, where just pushing Lorenzo with some big burst pretty early on.
But and only seen one control of the week thus far from Lorenzo, and no logos either, so maybe could be ready to see a big draw turn here from Lorenzo, potentially.
Yeah, and that's concerning for Jfilipeg as well. The fact that you're a full key behind, essentially, and you haven't seen 2 out of 3 control of the weeks.
Yeah, exactly. And yeah, that's the thing. You can just see these control of the weeks being used to push Jfilipeg into Untamed whenever Lorenzo wants to forge a key, because no Ember controller than that. In fact, that Mamook in Untamed, and so that those displays, those kind of Arise plays, those Shadows plays, just can't be done with that controller week knocking around.
He's got a floating phase shift, so we'll see what he plays and whether it's a controller week.
There's a whole Polygust on the Penseed. And returns the Help Future Self to hand.
I wonder if he had the Poltergeist before he shuffled.
I think you could go either way, but I think it's generally just good practice to not play the phase shift until after you've drawn all the cards you're going to draw in a turn. You never know what you're going to draw.
He could have obviously Nepenthe to control the week.
He could have, yeah.
If it was before the reshuffle, but who knows? He is going to get his second key. It looks like.
If you see a Drumble here, I imagine. But I guess we're not. We've seen the Terror, so I would have thought he would have played the Drumble, then the Terror, if he had one.
Does hit the gateway to Dis as well, emptying that board full of Logos creatures. Discards the Arise.
Oof.
Just nothing worth getting back, really. Only
Lorenzo taking a really commanding position here, I'd say. I could see even Lorenzo just using that key to Dis now, just because the Snudge is going to keep returning it if Jfilipeg goes back into Dis, and you're not going to be too far. And especially with that Arise gone, just good to get a couple of Dis creatures off the board.
Looking bad for Portuguese power.
It is indeed, yeah. But Lorenzo having a bit of a think here. So, did have quite a bit of draw with that Logos turn, but maybe not drawing exactly what he wanted in this situation. Maybe kind of giving him some consternation, or maybe just drew so many good things. He's just like, an embarrassment of riches that he has to choose from.
Yeah, we know at least one of those cards is Help from Future Self.
He did, that's very
Shadows,
true. So he does take out those, yeah. Plays both Miasmas just for the Ember, and obviously no risk of Jfilipeg forging, and here we just see Big Twig and a Halakor.
Just putting himself within control of the weak range, I think.
And there's, so goes to 6 as Jfilipeg gets himself onto check. So maybe see a Shadows turn if you're Lorenzo, build yourself up a little bit more Ember, kind of get yourself, or we might see a Dis turn with that control of the weak, just to kind of see out the game here. I could see either one happening, really. Assuming he does have control of the weak, obviously we don't know that. We can't see his hands. So we're just going to speculate. Well, he is going to see Shadows, so you're going to fight that Halakor, get some steel, and just get himself up to 5. I feel like he's setting up for a control of the week next turn now.
Yeah, just nicely takes Jfilipeg off check. Just sets himself up for the killing blow.
Yeah.
Which he may not have, but
He
Three
may not, but
cards.
it's just the kind of thing where, like, at this point, all Lorenzo needs to do is get a control of the week and put Jfilipeg into Untamed. And assuming he's got 5 Ember at that point, he can just stop there and go, okay, cool. Because the only Ember control in Untamed is that Mamook, which we've already seen come and go.
The brutality of Control the Week.
It is, yeah. And like I say, it's probably arguably one of the strongest cards that's been printed in Keyforge, and I think most people would agree with that. We only see Shadows first, though, so Umbra. Relentless Whispers to take out his own Umbra does get that steal. So Lorenzo now on 4.
Think definitely aware of the possibility of what could be coming there. Didn't want to leave his opponent on 5.
No, we're going to see Logos, though. So Helping Future Self. Going to bring back that Time Traveler. Plays the Time Traveler. Novu Archaeologist. A Sloppy Lab Work. Going to archive something. Who knows what. Mystery is what it is. And discarding Noddy the Thief, so clearly not planning on taking Shadows anytime soon.
Wonder if we will now see a second Arise play.
Do you see Jfilipeg forge a key there? Play the Pit Demon and the Shaffles. And there's the Drumble.
Ooh, okay.
And
so buys himself a little bit more time.
Yep. Yeah, so the only real way of getting rid of that Drumble that Lorenzo has in Dis is that gateway to Dis. So yeah, Jfilipeg could be buying himself a little more time. We've kind of been saying he's almost down and out here, but maybe we've seen a bit of a fight back. Who knows?
Down to 12 cards left in deck.
Logos discards the Spectral Tunneler.
Doesn't
Got
care
that customs officers out, so literally can't play it at the moment. Fights the Drumble, gonna kill it with a Novu, and that's all she wrote. Interesting. I suppose just thinking that's all he really needs to do.
Yeah, just make him have an answer.
Yeah, so if we see, say, got Shula, and yeah, you can action the Pit Demon, and obviously with the Shaffles too, knocks him onto 4.
Just the question is, has he found the Arise? The second Arise?
There's only one Arise in Jfilipeg's deck.
Oh, there's only one, sorry, yes.
Yeah, you think of the Pensy that's already, that was used cruelly by Lorenzo.
This is why, I'm sorry, loving audience.
It's not a problem, this is why there's 2 of us.
This is why there's 2. It's one of many reasons why there's 2 of us.
Yeah.
So very much more on the edge than I thought then.
Yeah, definitely. I think the thing is, it feels like very much Lorenzo can win at any point, and Jfilipeg is playing to his outs. He's playing to his outs excellently because he's an excellent player, and that's kind of what we expect. But it does just feel like if Lorenzo can get a Control of the Week and an Ember in Dis, then that's all he needs at this point.
We have to deal with the Shaffles still.
True.
There's 2 Nerve Blasts knocking around, so there's still some answers from Jfilipeg. And also this Disboard obviously is going to become more problematic the longer it sticks, right? Stuff like the Pit Demon and the Shaffles.
Certainly is,
knocking you down 2 Ember.
Yeah, let's losing 2 Ember return, yeah, definitely. So Lorenzo, though, so maybe doesn't have the answer in his hand yet. He archived something, so we don't know what he archived. It could be maybe he's archived a Control of the Week and he just needs another card in Dis to get in there, but maybe trying to think, well, I need to be able to get to a Dis turn where I can get to check, or in this case now, either kill a Shaffles and get to 7, and he's maybe struggling to do that. As he does consider his... But yeah, so definitely Jfilipeg starting to get a bit more foothold, down to 6 cards remaining in his deck here as well, so he's going to be able to like flip that deck sooner rather than later. And we've only seen... Yeah, we've only seen 1 Nerve Blast so far, so 2 more Nerve Blasts. There, here's the Dis. Control the Week into that Logos, plays his own Pit Demon, plays the Charette to capture 3, and leaves it there.
Doesn't have the extra Ember, so...
Doesn't.
We're going to live another turn if you're Jfilipeg, but we are going to see him tamed when he probably wants to go
with the Big Twig, stuns the Novu Archaeologist, Ancient Bear, Dust Pixie. And it's straight. Oh, I think this is maybe we're going to see a second.
Yeah, that was
if we pick up the archive, I think that's a death knell. No, maybe not.
Could
then
just have it. That was a very fast
fights the Shaffles. There's Control the Weak
Yep.
into the Untamed, and that is it, I do believe.
I assume so.
Yeah, I think he's just going to reap. I think Jfilipeg are going to reap out here, play it out, Probably fight that Ancient Bear into Charette. She does. Yep, there you go.
It is.
First game going to Lorenzo. Looked like Lorenzo was going to run away with it there, but an impressive fight back by Jfilipeg that clearly might have been putting a bit of pressure on Lorenzo there, giving him a bit of stress.
But the combination of the early burst, pinning him very much in the backseat, and then just the control the weak eventually shutting it down.
Indeed.
Yep, so super strong game there as we see Jfilipeg get behind the 8-ball, but kind of expected when you look at a deck like Odin, right? Odin is pretty stacked, and I'm not surprised about this outcome, but now Jfilipeg's back is against the wall. So do we see a different? Do we see him switch decks here, guys? Do you think, or do you think he's going to come back and play the same deck?
I think it's a difficult. I think from what I've seen, like switching tends to be like a mentality thing where like some people just will switch no matter what, or some people will just stay no matter what because they're like, well, I have to win with this deck no matter what happens. So. I'm trying to think which if either has a more favourable matchup. Really, I'd say probably Bentactus probably has a more favourable matchup against Lorenzo's deck, so I'd maybe stick with it anyway. But
Yeah, I think the creature control and Ice King is going to be hard against Sandstorm.
Indeed.
Otherwise, you've got the double gateways.
Yeah. So, quick note too that Coat 9 is basically coming up, and they're still taking signups, and they wanted me to do a shout out for that. And there will be a Coat quiz this Tuesday during the finals. So, that's directly from them, and they wanted me to throw a shout out. So if you haven't signed up for Coat 9 yet and you're thinking about it, make sure you get that done. But let's get back into it and take it away, guys, with game number 2.
Yeah, just a quick one. Coat, great tournament. That's actually where Team Scripture 1 was formed for that tournament, so can fully recommend it. But Jfilipeg on top of the screen, once again playing Countess Bentactwiz Holmes. Lorenzo on the bottom of the screen playing Specialist Sandstorm Grisfeld. And here we go.
Knights versus elves so far.
Indeed. Dodger, an unusually chunky elf. Vigor, gonna get a big heal, get that additional ember off of Vigor too, so very happy with that if you're Jfilipeg. Dino Knight exalting itself and you giving us an extra ember as a result. So Jfilipeg goes to 4 ember reet quick.
Curiosity again coming a little bit early, unfortunately.
Yeah, here we go. Logos Eclectical Inquiry, gonna archive a couple of cards for Lorenzo. Don't know what they are. They are completely random, but who knows? Opposition Research stops any reaping. Add a daughter. With all them pips.
Sort of what Sandstorm does very well is that a lot of things are very enhanced.
Certainly are, but Shadows is going to be the play here. So Dodger could fight into that daughter to steal one. I think that's what we might see. What else happens? Oubliette on the daughter. Interesting. I maybe would have thought the daughter first, but again, Jfilipeg getting the bait and switch while he has more ember than his opponent. Must be getting quite frustrating if you're Jfilipeg. He's going to Nerve Blast here.
I think potentially turning down the fight on the daughter so we can fight Gorvenal off the board.
And you could fight Gorvenal either way, though. Oh, yeah, I suppose he wants to get off the board, yeah. So probably maybe... I suppose it doesn't really matter where he puts the damage at this point, because the Dino Knight has got armor. If he's going to fight the Gorvenal, he's going to kill it with the Dodger either way. So maybe just put it on the Gorvenal just for shits and giggles, really. But have a bit of a think here. Trying to decide where to put it.
Wonder why.
Yeah, I suppose it's whether he's trying to decide whether he wants to actually fight the Gorvenal with the Dodger or not, or whether he values having the Dodger on the field longer. But I feel like if he was going to do that though, he would have just fought the daughter. Is the thing, because you either you're going to fight the daughter, steal one because you can't reap, or you're just gonna fight it into the Gorvenal or let it die and it doesn't matter. Right? It's like it'd be one of those two decisions. So Umbra, and he's going to fight it, presumably into that Gorvenal, or into the Dino Knight, maybe just get some damage on it, but I'd be surprised if that's the case. Yeah, it goes to the Gorvenal.
That's Gorvenal off the board. Yeah, so a lot of chunky knights that Gorvenal could gets pretty stacked pretty quickly.
Mm-hmm.
So just dealing with a few board threats, gaining some ember.
Yep, Lorenzo on 0, Jfilipeg on 4 as we go into turn 3. Lorenzo, though, with an extra card from that daughter, and is going to Mark of Dis into Untamed here. Stirring Grave going to bring back that Lieutenant Gorvenal into his archives. There's the Essence Scale putting some damage on that Umbra, getting a card draw 2. And a Techno Fiend captures off to that Techno Fiend. Cinder gonna protect it a bit, finish off the Umbra with that damage pip, and a break key just for the Ember. And yeah, big swing back to Lorenzo there. He's now on 4 Ember once again. Big Twig gonna reap. I think maybe Dino Knight is what it's done here, probably. Oh no, goes for the Techno Fiend. Interesting.
And
I suppose with that reap effect, maybe. Yeah.
Yeah, but that's it. That's a rough Mark of Dis.
It certainly is. But I think most of the time Marco Dis Germany is, and having seen Jfilipeg, play that big Twig and that big Untamed turn after it, and only play Shadows after it, you've probably got to be fairly certain Jfilipeg's got a lot of Dis in hand that you're now stopping him from playing. Lorenzo going to go Sanctum here.
Drop Gorvenal probably behind.
Discards the Purifier of Souls. Of course, that would turn off his Techno Fiend's destroyed effects. That's probably the reason he's done that. And not many destroyed effects in Ben Tanked, I don't believe. You got not any Dust Imps, for example, or anything like that.
No, I don't think there are any. Not so many destroyed effects in Coda.
No, I think Dust Imps were like the one that most people remember. I can't really think of. I suppose Research Smoko was another, but yeah, not many at all. And Dino Knight is just going to do a bit of a reap. Does get Lorenzo to 5. Does he have anything to get to 6 and force Jfilipeg to take evasive action? Or are we going to stick here? He's starting to think, so maybe he has something. No, doesn't. Just going to stick on 5 there as passes the turn back to Jfilipeg.
Chose to keep that Gorvenal in his archives rather than put it on the board behind the Cinder. We've got to see he's going to wait until there's a turn where he can do a bunch of fighting. As he may do in a minute.
Yeah, I was going to say, we may be seeing that very soon. I think that's what straight into Sanctum. I think that Gorvenal is going to be getting out right quick here onto the board to do some capturing. No, leaving it in the archives. I suppose just not keys on a threat for Jfilipeg. Doesn't really see the need to just kind of get a bunch of Ember on it. Actually, yeah, that's true. Don't need to get extra Ember on it until you absolutely have to, right? Because then it just means when it does get destroyed, that Ember's more of a thing to deal with. Place the shoulder arm on the Vault Keeper.
It is very big, potentially.
Yeah. So I think maybe see Bolter with the Bolt into Shaffles here is what I could see.
Well, you want to get that Ember from Baldric the Bold.
Yeah, you still get it before fight.
But the assault from the Bulwark, I think, is causing you problems there.
I don't know how assault. I know the assault stops fight effects, but I think it doesn't stop before fight effects. No, he does still get the. Oh no, he fought the Pit Demon with it. Excuse me. He's leaving that Ember on Charette though, so won't threaten for the key. And Pit Demon is going to fight Baldric the Bold, taking him out. And there's a Snudge. And just a Reap with Charette. And Shula can't get the steal though because of that Vault Keeper.
Yeah, they need to find a gateway pretty soon because obviously that Vault Keeper just turns off pretty much most of the shadows.
It certainly does, yeah. And he's going to choose Sanctum once again. Interesting. This is the third Sanctum turn in a row here. Has gotten that Sanctum well quite a few times. Either he's been getting quite fortunate with his card draw here, or maybe he just kind of really sees a value in keeping that disboard down. German Salvador going to take out the Terror with that. There's the Gorvenal coming down that we presumably picked out of his archives.
An interesting dynamic is that the Charette sitting on the board. We'll see if he leaves it for another turn.
I think maybe not. He might just reap with the Dino Knight and the Vault Keeper, go to 6 anyway. And I think maybe worrying about a Drumble could be a potential one. No, he's just going to fight it though. He fears not the Drumble. And equalize here. That's big. Can spread around that Ember.
That might have been what he was waiting for with the Gorvenal.
Certainly could be, yeah.
Just spreading that all out nicely.
Yeah, I've been taking off that Techno Fiend too.
Doesn't
Surprised
save
you
him.
put 2 on that quite damaged Dino Knight. Maybe we would have put one of those on the Vault Keeper, just as to do. But and here we see that. So that Long Q's Mines is a ticking clock. He knows that Dino Knight's going to die. That Bulwark's going to die probably next turn. But he's going to get Screwing a Fabian on the end there. I think this is what the 4th Sanctum turn in a row here too. So
he's just gonna reap out his Ember.
reap out, yeah. As Lorenzo's taken the first key there on that turn and is immediately back up to 8 straight after forging a key.
Jfilipeg really needs the gateway here.
He certainly does, and he's going to go Dis, and reach with the shoelace. So presumably he has it. There is the gateway. Okay.
But that's it. So key 2 goes to Lorenzo.
It does, and Jfilipeg in a real sticky situation here, very much behind the 8 ball. Mark of Dis just for the Ember. You know a game is going well when you can Mark of Dis just for the Ember. Reach with the Drekka to steal one, gets himself back up to check once again here. We're probably going to see a Mamook here then to knock Lorenzo off if we have anything. Wave the bear. That's it. Lorenzo99. The cup is staying in Hamburg as he is the KFPL champion.
Season 2 goes to the Hamburg Atlanteans and Lorenzo99.
It certainly is.
Parties in the Free City tonight.
They will,
or whatever Hamburg's called. I don't actually think it's the Free City. I shouldn't speak out.
I believed you. I was fully agreeing with you. I would have believed that. So I believe we're gonna go to interviews now. I'm gonna leave you. I am very, very ill. So I've done this through, so I'm gonna go and rest now. But I'm gonna leave you in the capable hands of Juicer and Callum to the post-match interviews. Thank you very much for listening, everyone. It's been a fabulous tournament to commentate on and a fabulous tournament to watch. And I hope you've enjoyed listening to me as much as I've enjoyed commentating. Thank you very much, and goodbye.
Rest well.
Yeah, get well soon.
All right, so we're gonna jump over to the other voice call here. So we'll lose Callum for a second while he switches with us. But I'm gonna give everybody a call here that can get here. I see Jfil is here, Cal is here. Will we get a Lorenzo? I don't expect a G. Jay, you got blitzed.
A little bit, yeah. So my strategy was obliterated on the deck selection.
Yeah, he had a very strong triad. I thought him and Damit's were the 2 strongest triads other than Shaka's. Like those are the 3 that I thought were the highest. Looks like Lorenzo's not going to join us, but congratulations to him anyway for being able to.
Have to assume there is wild celebration happening, champagne, being poured over people, jumping up and down, all sorts.
So what decided for you to let Odin through? Did you test a good matchup with Odin? Because Odin's kind of one of those decks that you look at and has like all the tools. So what was your thought process there?
So Lorenzo's here.
Yeah, Lorenzo just jumped in. So congratulations, Lorenzo. We thought you were gonna go join the party, like pouring the champagne and having a hamburger victory. Pushing Kiwi off his throne and being like, "Yo, boss, get out of here. I'm the boss now." It's like
yeah, thank you. Yeah, my internet just turned off. I don't know.
Oh no. Luckily, you won in time.
It's like Godfather style. You just push him off the seat. So it's great. But congratulations again. I'll let Callum run
congrats.
the interview.
Thank you.
So I think first things first. Congratulations, Lorenzo. Congratulations, of course, Jfilipeg.
Congratulations, Lorenzo.
Yeah, how are you feeling, Lorenzo? You are our new Keyforge Premier League Season 2 champion.
Yeah, great. Was kind of fast final. I think we played, about 20 minutes?
Yeah, very little.
But yeah, cool to win. I'm happy.
As you should be. So now it is true that Hamburg is the gateway to the world, as Muffins has looked up for us, as at least the world of Keyforge. As you guys have run it back to back now over there in Hamburg as the premier online team. Now I'd have to say, winning 2 seasons in a row. I don't think many people could contest that, even though the Italians are probably smoking on your back trying to catch up to you next season.
But yeah, it's staking a claim for Hamburg Atlanteans there.
Yeah, that's pretty amazing. Yeah.
So, normal triad chat. What inspired both of your bans this week? Why did you ban the decks you banned?
So for me, I think that this was the obvious ban. Not just because I was unable to pronounce the name of that deck, but also
yeah.
but also because I really thought that Lorenzo would ban much improved, and so on testing those Countess and the Ice King played well against Odin, and how do you say this? This name is also difficult to pronounce. Sorry about my Sandstorm.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but my hope was so the Ice King is really good against Odin. I'm not sure if Lorenzo found that as well on his testing. But Countess is good against Sandstorm. But so like I was saying before Lorenzo joined in, I was hoping that I would be able to play the Ice King against Odin, and because the Ice King doesn't match well against Sandstorm, so after that first loss, I felt this would be really really hard to get into, just because that matchup was the most favorable. Also, Countess was able to win against Odin, but it had to have a strong start, forging the first key and being able to rush it a little bit until it could control the game. But that poltergeist on the seed was too much. So I noticed that Lorenzo, maybe he could be holding the poltergeist, but he played he played a couple very small turns playing these, so I felt comfortable playing the seed there, which just obliterated my strategy for the rest of the game.
All right, so we have a
But
special congratulations for Lorenzo here. Say congratulations, Lorenzo.
Congratulations, Lorenzo.
Hey.
That's
The real star of the show.
Yeah, and that was it. So and
you guys hear me?
Sorry?
Yeah, we can hear you. Oh no. Technological problems.
Are you here, Lorenzo?
He's in and out. He's in and out. Let me see. It says that he's here, but
his internet finally failing after the tournament.
Yeah, but it'd be curious to hear what he had to say. But in the end, like Jfilipeg, your run was still super impressive. I'll give you that. You eliminated some of the best triad players in the world on your road here. You defeated the Juggernaut Shaka. You defeated Dave Cordero. Like, you have nothing to be ashamed of, that's for sure. Especially for the first time making a run in the league, and I'm pretty sure I'll see you again in season 3, making a push into the finals, because you've been an OG since day one, so all the way since Keyforge events. So
you knocked out Mental, who had, I think, one of the grossest triads that I saw in the tournament.
Yeah,
and one of the best away decks that I've seen.
I think the top cut was all the triads were really gross, but some were more notable than others. So I would just like to so since Lorenzo isn't here, I would just like to thank my practicing partners. So Sergio, who's SD Santos, Manel, who's Map DVS, and Scrowner, who is more known internationally. So those were the real MVPs, in my opinion. They helped me a lot. So And yeah, like you said, the beating top triad players is it requires a lot of work. So and those 3 players really deserve the mention because they helped me
And
throughout the season.
I will say Scrouter is one of the nicest guys in Keyforge. Like,
You
I love that guy. So,
Yeah.
so.
Lorenzo,
You
we
guys
can hear you,
hear?
I think.
Oh, there's
Yes, I can hear
Lorenzo.
It's
Yes.
again my internet. I don't know what's happening.
Well, the floor is yours. So say anything you want to
Yeah,
say.
Yeah, one thing to the I hold the poltergeist. For I think I don't know if you play actually the Neppen seed, but I think if you play it and I play my poltergeist before, I feel kinda sad because you can just discard a Rise and get it back with from the Neppen seed. And yeah, my ban choice was, I think, exactly the same. So I banned Noir because it had, I think it had not lost one game against Odin, and against the other both decks had also good matchups. So I think it's the best deck from those 3. So I banned that, and yeah, I think Odin had 10% chance of win against the Ice King. Must be really well for me to win this because of that much Emma control and the later shift on control weak or graft or something. It's just pretty bad. And yeah, I think Odin with counters was pretty even. Maybe Odin is slightly favored. Really depends on the dwarves. And Sunstorm against Ice King was really good for Sunstorm because Ice King had not that much removal, so I can just lay out my field and yeah. And I was kind of hoping that you not ban Randolph because I had a good matchup at both against both, so
Yeah,
I expected
also
a ban, but yeah. And yeah, I think the games were how they actually played was Odin played really well. And I think the Poltergeist Neppen seed was a key moment because it went really well. So and I think I had early 2 keys, and after that I can just wait for the control weeks and set you an untamed with only Mermuk and as Emma control. Just finish. And Sansom with counters was also. I expected the gate race at some point, so I hold actually some Sanctum cards. I don't play all my creatures because I expected a gateway at some point, but it just didn't came. So yeah, that was game breaker, I think.
Yeah. And discarding the Purifier of Souls was also it didn't matter in the end, but it was a good play there. Just because it helps me more than you.
Yeah. I thought if you gateway, at least get a key because of the steal from this guy. And yeah, also you have don't have one destroyed effect, so didn't matter. Yeah.
All right, well, that's gonna sum it up for at least this part of season 3. We still have the 3-4 game due to some scheduling and live events that happened this weekend. They did not get played yet, so don't look for it. You won't find it. We're gonna try to resolve that by next weekend sometime, and then they'll all be voted on the thing. But it will be live on Twitch whenever we figure out. We'll announce what that game will be since there is $150 on the line there. But congratulations, Lorenzo. You are going to win the $350 cash prize plus 3 keys from Luxurious Playstyle. You get those awesome looking keys. I don't know if you've seen them in person ever, but they will be shipped to you, and congratulations on that. And then Jfilipeg, not a slouch. You get $250. Z will be squaring up with you guys sometime this week. So thank you so much for all the participation. Thank you to all the people who were part of the KFPL planning and execution this season. I know I'm going to forget somebody, but I'm going to try this. Let's see. We got the Screech Bomb guys, which is Matt, Callum, and Baron. We have Muffins. We have we had One Star Peeps. We had Sheep Wookie. We had Team Exalted, which is I think is Tommy. Do you know who the other person is, Callum?
I don't, on my head. Sorry.
That's fine. So I know there was another person that was doing the things with Team Exalted and Tommy. I'm sorry I can't remember who that was, but Muffins, do you know? I know she's in chat. But thank you to all them. Thank you to Vaughn for all the awesome graphics and all these things that you see, like the New Wave banner that's up here in the corner for the tournament next weekend. Hope to see you guys there. Thank you to Z for all the logistic and hard work that he does. He probably does a majority of the heavy lifting as far as the planning and stuff goes. Not an easy task in this league with the amount of things that are in motion. Thank you so much to the players. Thank you to all the fans. Thank you to the support. Thank you to Ollie for being part of the team now. As you can see, his Archon Altars is up there. I wonder what that's going to be for. I think it's linked to the points race and the people that are trying to get into Season 3. Hint, hint. But no more details. Luxurious Playstyles, as always, thank you so much for all your support. You are a pillar. Thank you to CKM, that's Carl and Steve, for being our logistics guys and basically helping us get off the ground in Season 1 and maintaining our course and speed. Thank you to everybody that I may have already forgotten, because this is a long list of people. But this is technically the end of the season, so other than the 3-4 game, I got nothing else for you. So thank you guys for a good finals. It was everything I expected, and next season we're going to see some elimination, which is going to be crazy. How do you guys feel about that?
Well, there's one thing that I really prefer from this season, which is I could play my own decks, and that's going to be a bummer. But I think it will be very very interesting with the elimination. So we will have people playing more relaxed against people playing for their lives, which might create some pretty interesting matchups. But I think we'll have to wait and see how that holds up.
Hey, every season has to be a little bit different. That's the goal. And so far, the Atlanteans are showing that you guys got somebody for all occasions. So good luck next season to you guys.
Bring a shit guy.
I'm officially going to tell you this right now. As much as I loved you guys and I've given you guys love all through Season 1 and through Season 2, next season I am going to hate on you the whole season. I don't want to see you get through. So, just kidding. But well, kind of kidding. Not really. I'm definitely cheering against you.
The Hamburg Atlanteans are becoming the like 80s sports movie villains.
They're basically the Empire. I was going to put up the Death Star, but here I can use this one. That's them.
Threatening the Karate Kid. Like driving tractors at Kevin Bacon. All sorts. Team to beat for sure.
No, I'm just kidding. The Hamburger Atlanteans are all Clash. They've always been Clash to me. So
yeah, we love you guys.
We love you guys, and best of luck next season. Just not too much, because you've already had a good amount of it.
All right.
Just talking.
We will see.
All right. So this is Jupiter for the Planet Keyforge from Manlius, New York, and Harlan here making me make numbers on his bubble thing. I got with me Callum, the good doctor from the Screech Bombs. I have with me Lorenzo and Jfil. So I'll say goodbye and we'll get out of here and let everybody enjoy the rest of their Sunday. What's left?
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Go check out our stuff on the YouTube channel.
Oh, go ahead.
Goodbye. Congrats again, Lorenzo.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Yeah, super congratulations, and thank you for everything.
All right. Bye-bye.
Yeah, you too.